Hi, my name is Ruth Medcalf-Bell. I'm a PhD candidate at Northumberland University, and I'm looking at auditory perceptions with my studies. This poster is titled "Can Misperceptions Be Controlled? Experimental Findings from an Auditory Signal Detection Task, ASDT, using Novel Task Feedback and Sound Familiarization." ASDTs are ambiguous listening tasks which require a participant to listen out for a voice within a block of masking noise, and they're required to make a perceptual decision about whether or not they hear this voice. In each trial, there's a potential for 4 different outcomes. Of these, we're most interested in false alarms. This is when no voice is presented to the participant and yet they say that they can hear its presence. This signals to us that there's been an auditory misperception. ASDTs measure 2 things. They measure someone's perceptual sensitivity, which is someone's ability to discriminate between auditory conditions, and someone's response bias, which is their willingness to respond in a certain way. And this can range from being liberal to a more conservative response bias. ASDTs are thought to assess top-down influences on perception. And with this study, we aim to scrutinize these top-down processes by assessing the influence of sound familiarization or response feedback on performance within the task trials. This experimental auditory signal detection study was run online with an opportunity sample of 217 participants taken from the UK general population, and there was a mean age of approximately 35 years within our participant group. This study followed a 3x2 repeated measure design with a between subjects factor of experimental condition and a within subjects factor of block. So in block 1, participants were split between 3 different experimental conditions. The first being auditory signal detection task with sound familiarization. They heard the different sound components individually before taking part in the task trials. The second experimental condition was visual feedback. So every time someone made a response, they were given a green tick or red cross to signify whether they were correct in the response they just made. And the third condition was just a standard condition. So everyone took part in the experimental task. It was randomly selected. And in block 2, everyone took part in the standard version of the task. Results showed no meaningful effects of condition, block, or interaction for perceptual sensitivity, which is in line with previous findings. However, for response bias, we showed significant main effects of condition, with people in the feedback or familiarization having a more liberal response bias than those in the standard condition. Furthermore, there was a statistically significant main effect of block, with people responding more conservatively in block 2 than in block 1, and there was no significant interaction effects of block and conditions. Paired t-tests revealed no differences in response bias for feedback or familiarization, and yet there was in the standard conditions. And these results indicate that someone's response bias can be shifted with the use of feedback or familiarization, and furthermore, these effects carry over into subsequent task trials. Further research is needed to understand the limits of this effect. However, understanding that someone's response bias can be amenable to change provides novel insight into the potential for the design of different clinical interventions.